Specimens are received at the lab from submitting commands by U.S. Mail, FedEx, UPS, or are hand-delivered. The packages are organized and stored for processing on a first-come, first-served basis. The first stop is the Accessioning division. Here, the packages are opened and the chain of custody paperwork is reviewed. Any discrepancies with the custody forms or with the integrity of the specimen bottles are recorded. The bottles are placed on trays in batches of 100. There are no names on the bottles, so they remain anonymous to the testing staff. Each specimen is assigned an internal LAN, or Laboratory Accessioning number. These labels continue the strict chain of custody protocol which began the moment the specimen was collected. The LAN enables the laboratory to trace the path of each and every specimen from the moment it enters the system to the final step involving results reporting. Additionally, use of the LAN throughout the testing processes in lieu of the Social Security number serves to protect the identity of the service member. The finalized external and internal chain of custody documents are always made available for legal proceedings. This is also the point where internal blind quality controls are added to the mix. A blind is a urine sample that contains a known quantity of drugs. This is a critical quality control practice that assures both the equipment and lab personnel are properly identifying every potential positive sample. In addition to internal blinds, external blind quality controls, referred to as proficiency samples, are randomly shipped to the labs. Even though these samples appear to come from Navy or Marine Corps commands, they're actually sent by the Division of Forensic Toxicology, Armed Forces Medical Examiner System, as an external quality assurance measure. Accurate results for these external blinds are required from each lab in order to maintain DoD certification. Once batches of specimens and blind quality controls are assembled, the Accessioning division technician, handling one bottle at a time, breaks the bottle seal and pours a small portion of the specimen into a test tube labeled with the LAN identifier. This test-ready portion is called an aliquot. To avoid contaminating the specimen, nothing is ever inserted into any bottle, and only one bottle is opened at a time to avoid any confusion. All specimens received by the labs that contain a sufficient amount of urine are prepped for testing. Each specimen is tested for the most popular illegal drugs. The 5 drug types the labs test for are marijuana, cocaine, amphetamine, and methamphetamine, designer amphetamines such as ecstasy and heroin. Additionally, a random selection of batches is tested for a larger panel of drugs. Once ready for testing, the specimens are securely transferred to a screening technician. Only certified testing staff members have access to the specimen aliquots. In the screening division, each specimen is evaluated in a state-of-the-art automated analyzer. This instrument conducts a fast and cost-effective immunoassay test. Another very familiar immunoassay test is a home pregnancy test. Immunoassay testing uses antibodies to detect specific substances like illegal drugs. If a drug is present in the urine, it causes a chemical reaction, which is monitored by measuring changes in the intensity of light passing through the specimen. One way to look at this test is like a lock and key, where the lock is the antibody and the key is the drug. While many keys can fit into a lock, only one key can turn the lock and cause a chemical reaction. Each Navy lab tests thousands of urine specimens each day, but for the Navy drug screening labs, quantity does not detract from quality. Between each specimen, the immunoassay analyzer probes are rinsed thoroughly to avoid specimen cross-contamination. And quality control samples are tested before and after each batch of specimens to ensure the instrument is reading accurately from beginning to end. The test result for each specimen is thoroughly reviewed. If no drug is detected or if there is only a trace amount that falls below the Department of Defense cutoff levels, the service member's specimen will be reported negative and discarded. This is the case with approximately 99% of all tests conducted. However, each day, dozens of specimens flag positive. If a drug is detected on the initial screen test, the results are reviewed by the technician, the quality control personnel, the initial laboratory certifying official, or ILCO, and the final laboratory certifying official, or FLCO. If all 4 of these individuals verify the findings, another aliquot is poured from the original specimen bottle and tested again by immunoassay. This second immunoassay test is called the rescreen. If the drug is not detected in the rescreen, the specimen is reported negative and discarded. But if a drug is detected the second time, the results are once again verified through 4 levels of review. If the findings are certified, the presumptive positive specimen moves to a 3rd level of testing. This 3rd level is called confirmation. It is not a repeat of the immunoassay test, but a completely different and more accurate test. Here, a newly poured specimen aliquot is processed chemically and physically, isolating the drug or drug metabolites from the urine. This process is called extraction. The extracts are then tested using gas chromatography mass spectrometry, or GCMS technology. This works by heating the specimen extracts to a gaseous state. The gaseous specimen is then carried by helium through a long tube as thin as fishing line with a specialized inner coating, where the different components of the mixture, including drug molecules, are separated on the basis of mass and chemical characteristics. The drug molecules are bombarded with an electron beam, which changes them into ions and breaks them into several reproducible pieces. These drug molecule fragments form a fingerprint that allows for the 100% accurate identification of the target drug. Every drug molecule that enters the mass spectrometer fragments in the same unique and predictable fashion. The results of this test are always 100% accurate. If the specimen tests negative, the service member's specimen is deemed negative and discarded. If it tests positive for a 3rd time, the results are once again validated through 4 levels of review. This means that every confirmed positive test result is reviewed for accuracy a minimum of 12 times before it is sent to the service member's commanding officer. Positive results are uploaded to a secure website for review by the service member's commanding officer. The CO has 3 choices: an administrative board hearing, a court-martial, or if the positive results were caused by a legal documented prescription, the positive result is noted as attributed to the medication.
All right, so you said 44 nanograms per milliliter?
Yes, and so
The laboratory certifying officials are available to consult with the CO, the JAG prosecutor, and the defense attorney or board recorder, as well as testify at legal and administrative proceedings to verify and explain the laboratory's findings. Delivery of the final report falls to the Support Services Department. Using the LAN ID system, they track the chain of custody for each specimen and document and maintain test results. They also provide legal documents to submitting commands to include summary reports used for administrative boards and documentation packets used for courts-martial, as well as discovery responses and technical reviews and statements. They are always willing and able to provide answers to questions about drug test results. In short, they are the lead customer service representatives at the Navy Drug Screening Labs. And that's the focus at each of the 3 Navy Drug Screening Labs: customer service. They're ready to back up and verify their findings in support of the Fleet, Marine Corps, Army, and military legal community every day.